Hello, this is Skill and Kelso with the Grim Reapers. Today we are reviewing the Winwing Orion 2 Movable Force Sensing Stick Base, or MFSSB. We're a little late for this review for a couple of reasons. First one was illness, and the second one was a shipping mix-up that got in the way. For disclosure, Winwing sent our review kits free of charge. As usual, they've always said, just say what you think. Over the last 2 years, they've used our recommendations and negative comments to improve on subsequent build lots. The base arrived as marked with the MFSSB pre-installed. Packaging was adequate at keeping the base safe during transit. The MFSSB was initially engineered to be customer swappable with the cam spring and the damping kits. The MFSSB was found to be too difficult for customer installation, and the factory is now pre-installing the units. And to bring new viewers up to speed, the MFSSB core to the Orion stick base is the third major component available to sim pilots to configure for fixed-wing and helicopter sims. The fastest way to explain the other components is to run a clip of Winwing's video, otherwise it's going to take too long to replay previous reviews. Here are the manuals you can download for further research. Before starting SimApp Pro, ensure that the joystick base/stick is the only USB device plugged in your computer. Your keyboard and mouse should be left active. SimApp will warn you about active devices as a reminder. Conducting a firmware update with more than the intended USB device active is very bad.
Hello everyone. I'll quickly give you some of my initial impressions and thoughts on the Winwing Orion 2 force sensing base. First of all, I will say, due to real life, I have not had nearly as much time to fly with the base as I would have liked, but I think I've given it enough time to be able to give you some of my thoughts on it. I've been flying in sims now for years, using centre mounted sticks with extensions. This means that I'm used to large deflection angles and lots of movement, so the change to a side mounted stick which barely moves has been a bit of a transition for me, and I'll be the first to admit I struggled a bit with it to start with. Fortunately, Winwing's force sensing base, along with the SimApp Pro software, allow you to configure the setup of the base to your liking. I spent a good few hours going back and forth between DCS and SimApp, tweaking the settings until I was happy with them. After that, it was simply a case of just trying to learn how to fly with the side stick and force sensing base. Having spent some time flying the F-16 with it now, I can safely say that it works, and it works very well. My lack of skill notwithstanding. The base is very sensitive, and once you start getting some muscle memory dialed in, you can be extremely accurate with your flying. The tiny amount of movement required to apply inputs meant that you can control the whole aircraft with a flick of your wrist. This means that you can perform very quick manoeuvres without having to move the stick through 30 to 40 degrees of movement between full left and right deflections. As you can see, I have mine mounted quite low down on my right hand side to try and match the real aircraft, and I find that is very comfortable. Pros. The force sensor unit is extremely accurate and highly configurable. So, you have the ability to fully customise the base to make sure you're happy with how it is set up. Once you do have it set up, it is very accurate for precision flying. Actually using the base and stick is comfortable. And although it has clearly been designed for aircraft such as the F-16 or JF-17 with their fly-by-wire style inputs, you can use it for any aircraft once you're used to the base and its feel. Another pro might be that as there's very little movement, it might be suitable for folk who have limited space for their setup. Cons. Ironically, the only con I can think of is due to the base's biggest pro. Because the force sensing unit is so configurable, it took me a long time and a lot of back and forth to get it set up to my liking. But that might just be a me thing. Conclusion. My conclusion then. The MFSSB is another excellent bit of kit from Winwing, although, at least for me, this was definitely not just a plug-and-play item. It took me a while to set it up and adapt myself to it. Now that I'm used to it, I really like it, and it adds that super extra level of immersion for flying the F-16. So based on that alone, I would have to say it's a definite thumbs up from me.
Thank you for your hard work, Skill. I agree with your comments and had a similar experience with the force sensing base. And for brevity, I'd like to only add two things. The MFSSB base won't work well with helicopters and is probably best mounted to a fixed base. Here's the current pricing as of December 17, 2022. Thank you for watching, folks. Please watch other reviews for things we may have missed. I will leave links to our previous Orion 2 stick-based reviews showing the cam spring and damper kits.